Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome to the Enough Said podcast. That's pretty cool clip. I like that, guys. Nice
Yeah,
work on that.
no doubt. Mike, Tech Mike
That's
in the
right.
house.
Yeah, he didn't mess around on
He didn't
that.
mess around at all.
Welcome, everybody, to season number 5, episode number 3. We are just about to enter our third week with the NFL, obviously week 2 here, because we had our intro episode. So, hey, we missing Jermaine today, but congrats to his son going to the championship game. So hopefully he does really
Congrats.
well today. So
Absolutely.
wish him luck if you're watching, Jermaine, or listening, which I doubt. But yeah, wishing you luck, and hopefully everything works out today, and we have a championship in the works. And what up, guys? How you doing?
Doing well.
Doing all right.
well.
Ready for the games.
Doing pretty good, man. Opened up my week 1 bragging rights in fantasy football and dominated. So,
yeah, Dre had a good week. Mike, how's your week?
It's been pretty good. Pretty good. Won my fantasy match. The blind cat, came through. Not too good on my picks, though.
I was surprised by that.
Yeah, it was weird because last week we did the podcast and I picked, the Cowboys to beat the Browns on the show, but then I picked the Browns in my pick 'em. So I'm like, I don't know what I was thinking. I did that in 3 games where on the podcast I said one thing and then did something opposite in the pick 'em thing.
Yeah. Well, if it makes you feel better, I had Cook on my bench this week in fantasy. Another week where I had somebody at 30 points on my bench. I did wind up winning last week, barely. I came back at the end. I had 2 guys going and just about squeaked it out. But we'll see what happens today with that guy losing 30 points on the bench. I'm playing KD today. Other than that, we got some new things going on. We got Twitch. We're now on Twitch, right, Dre? We got Facebook, which we're going live on. We got YouTube. So if you haven't checked this out, check us out on those channels. Of course, you can also reach out to us at enoughsaidcrew@gmail.com. And you can follow us on all the major social media channels, of course, Enough Said Crew. So with that being said, let's get into it, guys. First thing I want to talk about, Mike, let's talk about your San Francisco 49ers having a good, and this is what I'm talking about, Dre, consistency. They came out and they played, 33-19 final. So final. We got to get the Mike Tyson in there. Yeah. So what did you think, Mike? See, that's what I want the Eagles to do. I want them to just come out, play 60 minutes, and beat a team consistently. Let's see if they do that against Atlanta, but we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah. I thought San Fran looked pretty good. I mean, I was a little concerned, but it was the O-line and D-line that I had the most concerns about. I said if both lines play well, then we'll have a pretty good showing. And that is what happened. They, offensive line, they were able to push the Jets around, and I got that run game going to a point where Brock really didn't have to throw a ball a whole lot. And then on the D-line, they shut down the run. There was all this talk about Breece Hall and about him, running over the Niners defense. And once they shut that down, then it became, can Aaron Rodgers find anybody to throw the ball to? And the only person he could throw the ball to is Garrett Wilson. No one else is going to step up for them. So they kind of shut them down.
Yeah. I had Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall on my fantasy team. They just about got me enough points on that one. I was sweating it out, man. I was down 0.1 point for the longest time. And then, yeah, you're right. They did shut them down, Mike, in that game. Dre, where are you, San Fran, coming out about the Eagles a little bit, that they're back again, San Fran, that the Eagles might not be able to handle them?
No, I think San Fran came out and did their job. Actually, it's the other way around, man. The Jets, Aaron Rodgers got to go. I mean, he got to go. So Aaron, he's old, man, and just looking at him that night and the way he was trying to move and scramble pocket and stuff, it's just over 40-something-year-old quarterback back there, man. He's the dinosaur, and I think he's hurting the team more than helping them. That's how I feel. And what happened to Gardner, man? They said he was fine on defense, and he came out that first quarter. He never came back in. But the analysis or the reporters, were saying that he was fine. So what happened to that? I think the Jets are the Jets, man. And Mike, your guy Saleh, defensive-minded head coach, it's just not working.
Yeah. I mean, I was weird with Sauce Gardner where he was out the game. It was almost like he needed a mental break or something. I've never seen that before. But
man.
in week 1. Yeah.
It was very weird. But Aaron Rodgers, I thought he had some good throws. I mean, he's got the arm. He don't have the mobility like he used to, but he does have the arm. So the question
Mhm.
is going to be, can they protect him? Similar to a traditional drop back quarterback, where you can sit back there and just sit there scanning the field and stuff like that. Now have to run around. Right now, the offensive line can't do that, but they might get there. I mean, they invested heavily. This is like a make or break year for them. I mean, I think they invested heavy enough. I mean, obviously they can't get Hassan Reddick in the door, and I think they did kind of need his presence a little bit. But this is, this is it for Saleh for sure. It's probably it for Rodgers, and this is probably maybe it for the GM over there too. If this team can't, pull it together. I mean, it's been a lot of promise, and it hasn't come through yet.
Yeah, our boy Joe from Philadelphia, man, he's the one who constructed that Super Bowl team, but I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and Howie, we'll see how Howie does, man. Eagles come out sloppy again today. We'll see what happens. Like here we go again. Like every game. Okay, yeah, it's a win, but we'll see if they actually come out.
And I agree with you, Sal, because like right now, from where we were last year, beginning of the season, this is what Philadelphia did.
Yep.
They won the games and they won 10 straight. But we still, for me, I need a couple more wins or games under our belt to see if we made the right choice. We're getting our coordinators and stuff, and then also seeing Hurts improve as well. I mean, remember, DeAndre Swift was over 1,000-yard running back when we had him. So to me, he's equal right now with Saquon Barkley until we see more production in the run game. So
yeah,
I like to see for the Eagles. Like you said, Dre, last year Swift came out hot last year, and I think he even had a 3-touchdown game one game last year where he lit it up.
The Vikings.
So you kind of feel like, I've seen this show before. The main thing you really want to see, or at least I want to see, is when Jalen gets on the pressure. That was the deal last year. It was like, you throw the blitz at him, go zero or something like that, and send tons of pressure and force him to run to his left and do the tendencies he usually has, and then he's trying to figure out where to throw the ball to. Is that going to be better this year? That was what really hurt them so much last year, was he had no options of where to throw the ball, or if he didn't see those options.
Yeah.
So this year, the Packers weren't really the team to do that. The Packers didn't blitz to start with, and then I don't think they really had the talent to really bring a lot of heat. So the Falcons aren't going to be a good example of that either. I don't think they have no heat to bring. But when you get to the Cowboys, when you get to the Niners, when you get to maybe the Lions or the Chiefs or some of these teams that are known for bringing pressure, either from the 4-man fronts or from bringing, extra linebackers and safeties to bring some heat. How is Hurts going to handle that? And if he handles it well, this team's going to be hard to beat. If he can't handle it, then it's going to feel like last year a little bit.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And that goes into the progression that I talked about a little bit. Yo, what up, Hef? So yeah, I mean, it's making that progress, right? And it's not going in there and just saying, okay, yeah, we'll go in, we'll play better. Yeah, every week should be a little bit better. But you just want to see that progression. You want to see him, like you said, Mike, beat the blitz. You want to see him make the reads and start making some of those throws. You want to see AJ Brown get more involved consistently, because he'll get like one big play and you won't hear from him. So, and they still got to get, I believe, the tight end position still Dallas Goedert underutilized. So.
Yeah, absolutely. You took the words right out of my mouth, because you saw a little bit in game one, they were going to him, and what happened? Boom, opened up for AJ Brown, opened up maybe for us Smith. So yeah, man, we got to get Dallas Goedert involved.
Yeah. Got to get him involved and open it up. Along those same lines, you talked about older quarterback. Obviously, Tom Brady played in his 40s. We talked about, Aaron Rodgers. Another guy coming into town, Kirk Cousins. What is the deal? I mean, is he done? Like, he looked slow last week. He looked like he just wasn't ready to play. Is he going to be able to come out and do anything against the Eagles? I hope so, because I pinned my wide receiver hopes on him with that Eagles secondary. But I don't know, guys. What's your thought on Cousins coming up?
But that was a disappointing outing for the Falcons. I mean, I think their
Mhm.
fan base was hoping for, a much better game, especially against Pittsburgh, which Pittsburgh's got a really good defense, don't get me wrong, but offensively, Pittsburgh's still trying to sort some things out. So
Yep.
I think they really thought they were going to have a much better performance, and they struggled hard. I think Kirk threw 2 interceptions that were not good.
Mhm.
Maybe it'll come together, but I don't know, man. That might turn
Mhm.
into a bad deal with them getting Kirk Cousins. It looked good on paper when they first got him, and it's like, oh, the Falcons could run that division, but so far it looks like it's Tampa Bay that has the better team in that division.
He got Felix. He's going to start soon. What do you think?
Yeah, Michael Penix.
Penix, Felix. Yeah,
Yeah. No, the X. Yeah. Michael Penix has a chance, but I think you got to let the season play out with Kirk Cousins. Either Kirk gets hurt or Kirk just turns into a pumpkin. Before you get to a point where you got to put Penix in there. If that happens, the season's lost. They got to be totally out of the playoffs or totally not even stiff in the playoffs for that to happen. But yeah, Kirk, it's week 1. New system, new team, new players, new people to learn. Doesn't have Justin Jefferson as a crutch. I mean, it's going to take a minute.
Yeah.
Real quick for me, man, like Kirk Cousins, right? So, I have to agree with Hef right there talking about a system quarterback, and I have to agree with that. But at the same time, he has that ability where, he sees, he can read the blitz or he can read a different type of coverage, and he'll get the ball to the guys, So, but then again, even Kirk said it himself, and I remember I saw his show a while ago. He doesn't even think about it. He just reacts. And again, this is Kirk Cousins we're talking about. We know how he is during a regular season. He can put up some numbers. So Philadelphia's got to get to him. That's my honest opinion. Their defense has got to get to him and rattle him.
And they didn't have any sacks last week, Eagles, pretty much. I mean, they were slow getting to the quarterback a lot last week. That's part of Vic Fangio's system. He doesn't like to bring a lot of pressure. But at the same time, you got to get something. Like, I want to see more, obviously, from all those Georgia players. We still haven't seen what they can do yet. And they were high draft picks. You just picked up a strong defensive lineman from the Jets who he was non-existent. And you got Jordan Davis, you got all these guys. I mean, really starting to get pressure and stepping up. You don't have Fletcher Cox as a crutch this year, and you really got to get some pressure on these guys because the secondaries aren't going to be able to hold him so long. Remember, you got Reed Blankenship back there. So, he's not that he's bad, but again, I still think he's a backup. He's a great backup, but I just don't see him as a starter. But let's see what happens. Yeah, you're right. Atlanta's got to get the run game going. Bijan Robinson will probably take some pressure off of Kirk Cousins. I think they didn't use him enough last week, but let's see what they actually do today.
Tomorrow. But yeah,
tomorrow. Yeah.
But yeah, it's but again, they're going up against another good defense. At least I think good defense. Pittsburgh's defense, definitely TJ Watt, man. That dude, he's definitely a player of the MVP, caliber for defense at least. And he was a wrecking ball last week. As long as he stayed healthy, man, he can bust up a lot of plays. And so yeah, I think getting the run game going again for Atlanta is going to be tough come tomorrow night. But we'll see.
Yeah, you got to plug the middle. So Jordan and all them got no excuses.
Yeah.
I mean, the Eagles are asking a lot to have them play more snaps than they did last year. I mean, Fletcher Cox had about 50-55 per game. So that's a lot to pick up. So you're going to have to do something. So I don't know what they're going to do with that. So
I had a question real quick when it comes to that Atlanta game, not Atlanta, but the Eagles game against the Packers. So KD kept saying that Jalen Carter looked like he's taking off plays. Did you guys think that that's the case for him? I mean, it's a little too early in the season to be taking plays off.
Go ahead,
I was going to say, yeah, I think they're obviously there's some double teaming going on for sure. I don't know if that he's taking off plays or it just doesn't seem like he has the endurance yet for whatever reason. I just don't think he doesn't have that durability yet. He's still learning. He's still young, but eventually you got to start growing up here. Like, I mean, you are playing in the NFL games. It is 18 games. Like, I don't know if it's a conditioning issue or whatever. I doubt he's just taking plays off. I think it's more of an endurance and conditioning issue.
Yeah, I have to
Yeah.
agree with that too. But also, I
Mhm.
think it's also the scheming. I think
That
trying
too.
to get him to
Mhm.
rotate in, give him another comfortable, I guess, I don't know, formation position to not his position, but formation when the play happens. Maybe help him with that double teaming problem that he's having. So I
Yeah.
think it's more of the coordinators trying to figure out how to utilize him a little bit better.
Yeah.
So, so
What do you say?
Says he's a big baby. Oh
I think he's a
man.
big baby. Doesn't seem like he's a mentally okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
maybe.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of defensive line play, did you see with that Chiefs game with Chris Jones where he was changing where he was lining up depending on who was on the other side? So like he was sitting there, and I guess they gave him that much flexibility that he could line up and switch with the guy on the outside if he felt like he had a better chance to rush from the outside, or he could switch back into the middle, or he switched back, to the other. I was just like, man, this guy's like kind of picking who he's going to
Oh yeah.
pick on. I was like, that's
Mhm.
pretty wild, but it was working. But I guess
Yeah.
that's just when you have players like that and a defensive coordinator that just says, you know what, you can be your own captain. So I thought that was pretty cool from be able to do that. I don't really see too many defensive players that have that ability to do that. Usually a linebacker might line you up and tell you, okay, you move, you do this, but to see him do that, I thought it was pretty impressive.
Right.
Yeah, we'll get to that KC game in a couple minutes and talk about that a little bit. And Andy Reid, they somehow just find a way to win all the time. And it's unbelievable. Like some people will say, oh, it's referee call. Some people will say it's Andy. Some people will say it's players just making the play at the right time. But whatever it is, it's working for them. And until somebody proves otherwise, they're still the champions.
Yeah.
You can't argue with it. So. We'll find out. So, all right, let's talk about the other elephant in the room. And this is a tough one. Tua, he's meeting with specialists this week, and they talked about that. And supposedly I saw this morning, they're gonna make some evaluations on his future. What scared me is the way his arm looked when that happened, guys. Like the hit itself, it looked like it wasn't that bad, but the way his neck bent, that's really what caused it. Now that what the neurologists say and what Tua does is another thing, but I seriously think, guys, he's got to really consider his future here. This is his health. This is too many concussions, and I don't know, guys. I think the Dolphins better have a backup plan here.
Yeah, my initial reactions when I actually, when I saw that hit, and I was like, oh my goodness.
Mhm.
And it just immediately flashed back to 2 seasons ago where he got, had that concussion, and he has multiple concussions. And to me, man, like we know concussions is a serious number one priority thing in the NFL. And I'm thinking about long term for
Mhm.
him. It seems to me that he needs to really think about his health, his life, than putting in front of the game, because that's a serious thing with brain injury. And Tua, man, I hope that he recover. The long term doesn't make the affect him in the, or not the long term, but this concussion he just had in a couple games coming up will affect him as he playing and making Miami kind of have a bad or a challenging year. But to me, I think he should take this more seriously and its effect of maybe retire the following year.
Mhm. Yeah, Mike, it's funny because some people were saying Tannehill. Other people, believe it or not, are saying Tom Brady because they were very interested in him before everything happened with Tua. So,
Yeah.
and Tom loves that area. He's down there. So, do they bring him back? What's Tua's future? It's a concern.
Yeah, no, it definitely is concerned. I think with Tua, the problem is how you play, because even that play, he didn't really try to protect himself at all.
Yeah.
I mean, he
Yeah.
lowered his shoulder, and you're
Right.
like, dude, you got a history here. You can't play like a running back, and I just wonder if he is going to keep playing. Are they going to be able to coach him to do things to protect himself? Can he wear the guardian cap? I thought nowadays all players could wear a guardian cap if they choose so. I mean, maybe he's the first quarterback to wear one of those, and maybe that's what enables him to play, more years. I truthfully think, if he can retire, he should retire. But, I'm not an NFL quarterback, and I do understand that that mentality of, I'm gonna die, with my sword and shield kind of mentality. He's been playing football, I think, for most of his life. So to kind of be told you got to walk away from it because you can't take a hit, that it's tough to do. But like you said, you want to be able to enjoy life, when you're in your 40s and 50s, and your body is the age of an 80, 90-year-old because of the hits you're taking. But I think it's a tough decision. I don't think Brady's the answer. I mean, that's another guy that it's kind of like, dude, go out while you're on top, because it's coming where you're going to get hurt the way you don't want to get hurt, and you want to be able to enjoy your time owning boat racing teams and the Raiders and whatnot. So Tannehill, I think, is probably the best option. That guy still got a little bit of life left. I think he can help salvage the season. Feel bad for the Dolphins, man. I had a lot of high hopes for them, but they look bad.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, defensively, I mean, what the heck is that? I mean, they can't stop the run. I mean, Buffalo's not a power running team.
No.
I know they want to commit to the run, but geez, they were looking like, like old Washington, the Hogs and Rigo. I'm like, what kind of nonsense is this? I mean, Miami's got problems, man, and Miami Daniels got to figure some things out.
Boy, did Miami make Buffalo look good?
Yeah, and Josh was hurt, and Josh Allen was hurt.
Right? Josh. Yeah. I know the Buffalo fans like, oh, we don't need Diggs. Oh, we don't need Davis. We good. Listen, man, Miami's in trouble from right out the gate, and that's really shocking to me because Miami, they're supposed to be one of the top teams in that division. And I don't know, man. It's not looking good at all. And some of the, like I said, I question some of the Daniels play calling too. And hey guys, I know I'm stuttering here, but I'm stuttering because I'm in shock. So Miami's done.
All right, well, let's get into some of the games today. Since Hef is on board here, let's talk about the Commanders and Giants, guys. Jalen. This is tough, man. Because the Commanders should win this handily. But will they dabble in it a little bit? No pun intended. We'll find out here. Neighbors pretty good week 1, Mike. But it's still Danny Dimes. You can't win with Danny Dimes.
It's I hate to say it, but being around here in the DMV area, this feels like a must-win game. Like if they lose to the Giants, it's like all the hope and all the everything that people have for JD5 is almost kind of goes right out the window, and you're back to like, oh, it's the same old Commander, same old Redskins, same old what we used to. It's hard to believe this week 2, and it feels like a must-win game. But if they go out and lay an egg to a team that last week was just pathetic, I mean, Danny Dimes was pathetic. The whole team was pathetic. And defensively, they weren't good, and they just got mollywopped. And so you feel like the Commanders, if they are starting to improve, maybe not mollywop the Giants, but at least beat them, But a lot of people are saying Washington defense might be one of the worst defenses in the league. So it could be a tough one. But, yeah, Commanders should win this one. They better win this one. It really should.
It's tough, Dre, because I have C.J. Stroud and I have Jaden Daniels. So it's like, do I take the risk and say, yeah, he's going to light up the Giants? It's a tough one, but I don't know.
That's not a tough one.
Yeah, you got to go with Stroud.
It's no brainer, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you go Stroud. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I see what Hef says. It's like you lose a day, it's the same old same. I mean,
yeah.
This might be the game where the Giants actually win, and Hef is going to be throwing his hat on the ground. And then if he has any Giants, co-workers, he's going to just shake his head at him as he's walking by. So listen, Hef, you guys got to win this game. There's no question. All those Washington Commanders fans are on Tony. If you're listening, shout out to you, Tony.
Tony's at the game. He's going.
Tony's at the game.
Yeah,
so.
He's at the game. He's going to see it firsthand. So,
look, man, I want to see. Based on paper, because we talked about this. Like Washington is looking pretty good on paper, but on the field, it ain't looking good. So we'll see, man. But this has got to be a must win for Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah, have same place, Stroud.
Yeah,
He's
are
not
you
even
crazy?
crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm. Oh man. Yeah, so we'll see what happens with that one today. I think that's going to be a real interesting game, close game to keep an eye on to see how much progress the Commanders make. And like you guys said it perfectly. If Commanders are getting better, let's see them show it today. We also got the Chiefs and the Bengals, guys. This one, this is interesting, but here we go again with Cincinnati. I mean, these fans are ready to jump out the window. It's crazy with the Bengals every year and what they do. Is Burrow just? I don't know with this guy. Like, is it the team? Is it him? Did they just take a while to get the system going? I don't know what Cincinnati's issue is.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of strange because this year they got Burrow, from the jump. He didn't miss any camp like he usually does. And it still seems like they're getting off to a slow start. You just don't know why that happens. I know Chase is playing. I know he's kind of wishy-washy because of the contract stuff he's got going on. T. Higgins is out again today, so I know they miss him. But it does seem like something's missing with this team.
Yeah,
Defensively, offensively, it just seems like maybe their window is closed a little bit. But I think the Chiefs are going to beat them today. And I think the game is in Kansas City. The whole Burrow things. Kansas City looks more complete right now. Cincinnati still looks like they got to get the week 4, week 5 before we know what they are. That's what I got. I definitely take Mahomes.
Yeah. I'm taking the Chiefs as well, but I think Bengals has got to get Chase going. We know that. They also got to get the running game going. Now here's the true test. Mixon left to go to Houston, so we got to see how filling in that running game is going to help as well. And we always talked about the offensive line. The offensive line showed some improvement, but I don't think they're not there yet as one of the good lines.
Nope.
Yep.
So
I think they still have problems there. Still, I'm not sure why they can't fix it because they put a lot of money into it. They got what's the name, Zeus? I think who was from the Ravens who went to Chiefs and they went to the Bengals, and they keep investing in it, but Burrow still is either running pressure, or taking sacks. It just, last week was a sloppy week too against New England, and they had turnovers that were bad, and New England did what. Play solid defense, and then they tried to run the ball, try to control the clock, and just, find a way to win.
Yeah, I think Chiefs winning an Arrowhead. The Bengals trying to win an Arrowhead. I don't think so, man. That's a tough place to win. And I think, the Bengals going to go 0-2.
Yeah, no, that's going to be a tough game for them to win. And I think you're right, Dre. I think they're going to wind up going 0-2, but you're not sounding crazy. Burrow might be just again, maybe he had the weapons and he did it for a year or two, but maybe he is a bum. We'll find out. This is his chance to stand up today. If he can somehow find a way to pull this out, maybe they turn it around, but it's going to be tough, man. So is Hollywood playing today or is he still out? I know
Hollywood's going to be out for the whole regular season, possibly the whole entire season altogether.
Jesus.
He had shoulder surgery. So right now they said for sure he'll miss the regular season. Likely they'll get to the playoffs. He might be back for the playoffs, but no, he's a scratch.
Yeah.
I like your optimistic, there, KD. So we'll see, man.
Let's get to the Niners and Vikings. This is another interesting one. I don't think it's even going to be a contest. I just don't think the Vikings are very good at all. I don't care about Justin Jefferson. Their defense, I'm not buying in yet, but I know you feel a lot differently, Mike.
Yeah, well, first off, I'm surprised you guys didn't say anything about my background.
Well, I was about to.
Well, that too. Yeah.
So go ahead, man.
You know why. You know why. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I see it. 2 seconds.
Seen ghosts.
ESPN caught that.
So if you guys remember, Sam Darnold said he was seeing ghosts. And then sure enough, Sam Darnold was the quarterback for the Vikings. So, I said my little thing and said, who you going to call, right? But yeah, in all seriousness, San Francisco did look good last week. I want to see it continue, especially with the run defense. Look, Minnesota has Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is definitely a heck of a running back. And, of course, they got Justin Jefferson, who himself is a heck of a receiver. If they can get pressure on Darnold, I think he will see ghost, and the turnovers will start to happen. But they got to shut down Aaron Jones. I mean, I still, run defense was great last week. I got to see it again. I'm going to pick San Francisco because I think offensively, San Francisco's got too many weapons to go against that Minnesota defense that they're not going to have answers for Ayuk, who's not going to drop open touchdowns. And I think Jordan Mason will have a good day. I don't think I have the same day I had against the Jets, but I think he'll still be a very serviceable back that will, get some tough yards, and they'll run well. So, yeah, I got the Niners, but just not a blowout like people were forecasting.
127 yards for Mason last week. Good game for him overall.
Yeah.
And I did call it about CMC. I told you it was coming, man.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, I'm happy for Jordan Mason that he's worked, like being with CMC and seeing the level of play that you have to get yourself to, I think has rubbed off on Mason. They say he's been working, he could always run hard. I remember him always being like a violent, Marshawn Lynch type of runner that just hits the hole hard and will, enjoys contact. But the other part of his game that he had to improve was being able to catch the ball and being able to run routes. Last week he only had one catch, but it was a crucial catch, where he ran a little, pass to the flat. I just had to run up, make a cut, catch the ball, and they got a first down with it instead of the drive. And that's the kind of play that you need from a guy like that, just to help balance the team. He's not going to be CMC, but if he can just be, a beyond, average to above average running back back there with that offense, that's what they need for him.
Yeah, man. I'm taking San Fran, and I'm gonna tell you why. Fred Warner, the dude is just awesome for San Fran's middle linebacker. And I think that's going to stir up the bee's nest on the rest of the players to actually go after Sam. And he's going to see Inky. He's going to see those Pac-Man ghosts. He's Pac-Man, and he's going to turn blue, not them. So I'm telling you right now, man, San Fran's going to eat them alive.
Yeah.
I don't see for Vikings. They're home in the dome, but that don't mean nothing, man. So
it's going to be tough sledding for Minnesota. I think it's going to be a blowout again. I think it's going to be similar to last week, where Niners get somewhere around 30 and maybe they get like 19, 17, something like that. So they just don't have the firepower.
Well, one thing they'll at least make history, because in 30 years San Francisco has not won in Minnesota. So if they win today, at least they'll turn some history around.
And this is true. Hef is right. It seems like no matter who San Francisco's running back has been, I mean, obviously CMC, with that aside, they tend to do really well. It's just that offensive system. And I mean, unless, again, something happens to Purdy, I don't see them losing this game, and they also said they're going to get Debo more involved in the run game today as well. So he might take a couple carries away from Mason. They said they really want to get him more involved.
Yeah, they did that last week. It was okay. I was a little concerned about it because Debo, even though, he's more in shape and stuff like that, I still don't like seeing this guy take a lot of hits, man. I can still keep feeling like, man, he's injury prone when it comes to that kind of stuff. It seems like he always get hurt when they try to use him as the wide back. So hopefully they just say, you know what, let the running back do his job, be the running back, and let the receiver be the receiver. Or if they're going to do that, hopefully they're doing plays where they're running Debo, more to the outside. Like I saw a couple inside zones with him, and I was just like, dude, he is not the guy to be running inside. You got to spread the field, see if you can set up a block, let him hit the edge, but run them inside, it's just going to get him hurt. I mean, you don't need him to get hurt. Not right now.
Yeah.
And also tight end, man, I think George Kittle's going to have a big game today. So
Yeah, he could. That's it's a good point. All right, guys, you know what I'm going to bring up next. We got the Eagles. This will be the last one, and we'll get into some of the games here, leave it a little bit of time. Eagles and Falcons. Here we go. Monday night, and whew. It's every year the Eagles wind up killing me because I pick against them, and then when I actually pick them, they lose. It's like I cannot win with them.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
and Debo does take big hits sometimes, especially when he's running. But yeah, I mean, I don't know about this Eagles. Eagles should win this one. I think that their offense is going to go through the Atlanta defense if Hurts takes care of the ball, and I think that's got to be the key. He's got to take care of the ball. Little concerned about the Eagles secondary if they don't get pressure on Kurt, because if you let Kurt sit back there, he will carve you up. Dre, you're right. The numbers he puts up in the regular season, and the Eagles last week did not get a lot of pressure. So I have the Eagles, but I'm concerned. Dre, what do you got?
I'm taking the Eagles. Last week I didn't. I had it going against Green Bay, and they proved me wrong there. We kind of touched on it at the beginning when we opened the show. I want to see the defense plug up the run game because Bijan, this guy is a really good running back.
Yep.
And he's quick, and he can also catch on the backfield as well. I have to say that, yeah, the secondary, they all have to step up, but I really want to see the middle step up, and I want to see some more rush ends coming in as well. I mean, we got this veteran coordinator from Miami, and I want to see him put his exclamation point on it. As for offensively, I there weren't that many carries. Well, actually, there was short yardage with Saquon Barkley. He got the 3 TDs. Yes, he did have some yardage in the backfield. Total yardage was good. He had like over 100. But I want to see more carries with him as well. I think you attack them up the middle and keep putting pressure on them with Saquon, mixing gains as well. I think I want a more running game approach against this, and then you can probably open up for the passing game. And again, we got Jermaine brought it up. If you ain't scoring over 30, you're not going to win. So they got to do that as well.
Yep. Mike, who you got?
Well, first off, I just got to say the game is not on Peacock. It's on regular freaking TV. So I can watch it. I can enjoy it. I'm happy about that because I'm very intrigued to see this game, and I did not want to have to subscribe to be able to watch it. So that's a good thing. I think, I don't know. I feel like this game's not even going to be close, man. I just feel like the Eagles are just going to destroy them.
Yeah.
I just don't think Atlanta is there yet. And I just don't know what aspect of the game is going to be better than what the Eagles have. I think on defense, I think the Eagles will shut down that offense. I don't think Kirk Cousins and Bijan and Drake London and all those guys, I don't think that they're together yet. Kyle Pitts even. I mean, I heard this name, I don't know, last 3 years, it feels like Kyle Pitts, greatest tight end. And I don't know. I feel like the guy never shows up or no one's getting the ball. It feels like Atlanta's got all these weapons, but it never seems like it amounts to much anything. And I still don't see it amounting to anything against the Eagles. I think this is the worst team for them to try to improve against. So I think defensively, I mean, the only liability that the Eagles have on defense to me is this, CJ Gardner and that secondary, but I don't think they're even going to get tested that much. I think it's just going to be a rough day for the Falcons offense, and I think the Falcons defense, which was something that Raheem Morris was brought in to improve, they don't get better overnight. So I think that they're a work in progress as well, and the Eagles will exploit that, and it'll be the Saquon Barkley show. It'll be Jalen Hurts, running to get first down that will just extend drives and break the team's back. And, not talk about Mike Tyson, not talk about breaking backs, but, I just see this being a field day for that offense, hopefully it's not fool's gold where you see it and you start thinking, well, the rest of the season is going to be like that. But, this is AJ Brown's going to have a day. I know Atlanta paid that cornerback a bunch of money, make them think the highest paid cornerback, but I still think AJ Brown and Smith and all those guys. I think this is going to be a field night. It's a night game, but I think this is where the Eagles is going to show out.
You said CJ Garner Johnson just because he's feuding with Debo. Come on, man.
He got burnt bad. That was ugly. You saw what I saw in Brazil. That was ugly, man.
Oh my goodness.
He know what to cover.
Real quick before we get to it, any update on Dre Greenlaw before we get to the game?
He's still out for a while.
Mm.
You know, I don't expect to see him until like November, December.
Yeah.
And even then, you know, it still is going to be the same Dre Greenlaw. You know, right now it's just they are what they are, and they just have to work with it. As long as Fred Warner's flying around and stays healthy, they'll be okay.
Yep.
All right. So, Mike, I hear you got a little challenge for us today, a little game going on. What do you got, bud?
Yeah. So look, you know, you guys saw that Jets game, and Ayuk went out for the pass. Purdy laid out a dime to the corner of the end zone, and the ball went right through Ayuk's hands. And my initial thought as a fan was like, look, this guy's just signed for $30 million a year. When you drop passes like that, you almost feel like he should get money back for that, you know? So it started making me think like, look, how many players do we have that got these big contracts, you know, that you just want to say as a fan, hey, man, give me back my money. You know, so I got a couple of different players. I'll read out their contract. And you guys just say, look, do you think this guy should get back money? And as a fan, you know, what do you think, you know, it should be? And then also, you know, if you think it should be a totally different deal for this player, you know, we can go with that too. So I'll start out with your favorite guy, Dre. So back in 21, this guy signed a 4-year, $72 million deal, $37 million guaranteed, average of $23 million a year. Since that deal, he had a 1,000-yard season. He said since then 1,900 yards. Had 11 TDs. Since then, in that first season after he got the contract, he had 84 catches, and then now he's down to 57 catches. This year, he's got 1 catch, and that would be your guy, Christian Kirk.
Oh man, that's Christian Kirk. Yeah, give me my money back. So I mean, when that deal was signed, he was actually like in the top 5 of the highest paid wide receivers, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this dude stole money. I was like, how in the world did he get that contract, right? And what has he done lately? Nothing, man. I mean, shit, give me back my money.
Yeah. He's been on the decline. You know, he got signed. He had a good first year, and then his targets have dropped, his yards have dropped, TDs have dropped, everything has dropped. You know, and it's just like, you know, like you said, why did they make that deal? And of course, you got to wonder who was throwing the ball to him. But yes, Sal, you think too? You know, you want your money back?
Pass. Enough said. Yeah, man, that just was. I mean, and we saw it with some other players this summer. Like, I mean, quarterbacks mostly. We'll get. I'm sure you're going to get to them.
Yeah,
but
I got some there. Yeah.
I mean, sometimes these guys, they just pay them, and it's like, wait, what have they done? Like, they're not there yet. Sometimes, and you know what Howie does? I think a lot of times they try to jump ahead. Because before the signing market gets crazy, like it did with quarterbacks, they just sign these guys thinking they kind of beat other teams at the punch and they won't drive up the price. But it's just, yeah, man, it gets out of control. Like now you're paying a guy like Christian Kirk. It's just, that was stupidity. Yeah.
So I got another guy. Hef will probably want to chime in on this guy. So this guy was a first round draft pick. He was chosen number 16 last year. For that position, he's got a fully guaranteed 4-year, $15.4 million deal. So he's about $3.85 million average. Since he's been in, he's been torched by A.J. Brown. He's been torched by D.J. Moore. He has 1 interception so far. Given that he was such, a first round, pretty high pick, are you looking to get your pick back or your money back? That would be Emmanuel Forbes Jr.
Oh my God. Why?
Sal, because I want to go ahead.
No, go ahead, Dre. Go ahead. I'll let you start on that one.
It's got to be the agent, man. It must be the agent doing some good things. I mean, negotiating with these teams, man. Because to me, that was like non-existent. I totally forgot about him. And I want to say the answer: give me my money back.
Jesus, man. I mean, how many yards has Emmanuel Forbes allowed? So it's
You know,
just
I
like,
have to look that up, but it's been ugly. You
It
know,
has to
and
be. It has to be.
and I think you might see it today, even. You know, going against the Giants, who don't have a lot of offense, but there's possibility. You know, Neighbors is lined up against Forbes. You know, he
yeah,
might get smoked.
Toast.
God, man. I mean, it's
That's a good one, Mike. You dug deep in the barrel on that one. I totally forgot
Yeah.
about Forbes.
yeah, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
Man,
God, yeah, that's like that's up there when the Eagles signed some of their older cornerbacks that they just didn't do a damn thing. The Eagles
Yeah.
signed some horrible, oh my God. Was it Asante Samuel? Remember him?
yeah, I
The
remember
Eagles
something.
signed, and he
Yeah,
just didn't do a
yeah,
damn thing.
yeah.
I mean, oh God. Anyway. All right, go ahead,
Yeah.
Mike. Who else you
Yeah,
got?
so this one, I already know you guys want to get money back on this one. I guess just how much, but so this guy,
All right.
last year signed a 4-year, $160 million deal,
Mm.
92 million guaranteed, $40 million a year average. Since he signed that deal, he's only played in 7 games. In those 7 games, he's got 2 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. His current QBR rating is 16.2.
I know where
Nice.
you're
That's
going.
That's
Go ahead.
Danny Dimes.
Danny Dimes.
Oh my God, man. Yeah, I mean, Danny Dimes, you talk about progression and him just not progressing. You're getting a guy out of Duke, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, what do you expect? I mean, look at the competition he played. Did you really think he was going to be able to come into the NFL and adapt with playing at Duke? I mean, and look, you're high. Carson Wentz, look, he came from a Division II. I mean, Duke's like a Division II. Let's just say that they are basically. So I mean, the Eagles try to get Carson Wentz. They thought that we could come in do the same thing, and they are what they are. They are what we thought they were. And Danny Dimes is going to do what Danny Dimes does. He just can't make that connection, and it's hard when you're coming from a Division II team and you just don't have that level of talent, and all of a sudden you're playing in the NFL. That's a huge jump.
It's definitely a regression. And that
Mhm.
contract, man, you talking about how much? About 50 to 65%. He should get paid pretty much what bench players get paid, quarterback backups.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, Danny is like, yeah, okay, yeah, I got a nice check every week.
Yep.
But to me, man, yeah, Giants made a big mistake, and they could have put money into wide receivers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, you know what they could have did? They could have put money into Saquon Barkley.
Well, I was going to
that's the
say,
guy. That's the guy that got Danny paid. That is the reason why that season was even worthwhile to begin with.
that was my initial thought. I wasn't going to say that, but that was my initial thought. I was like, you should have paid Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
And you're going to give this guy, all that money, 92 million. And which other party said, man, give me my money back. How about just renege the contract? I mean, God darn.
Should they have? I know there was a lot of controversy when they picked Neighbors. Should they try to have gotten a quarterback and not signed Dimes and kept Saquon? Would this have been a different story?
Well, to me, what's the name? They needed a quarterback. I mean, they needed a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they kind of went desperate and went barrel fishing, what do you want to call it? To me, they needed a quarterback, but they didn't do it right.
Yeah, I think they got into one of those situations where you almost have to provide the guy as much talent and pieces around him to see if he can be the guy. Because they signed him to that deal. It's like if you draft a quarterback and you don't get a receiver, then you don't really have no offensive weapons again, and you're kind of stuck in the rebuild mode. So I think they said, you know what, let's get the receiver. Let's see if he can be the guy that just helps elevate Danny enough that, if Danny just throws the ball in the area, the guy will catch it. But I think that's where they're going with it. But if it doesn't work, I think they're blowing things up over there. It's new coaching, maybe new GM. It's over. New quarterback, it's over. I think if it don't work.
Hef is right,
Yeah.
man. Sal, he's right. It was the worst deal than the terrible Tal, Watson, and it it is, I think. Definitely.
And now there's some new allegations against Watson. Who knows if it's true? Somebody's trying to get money. We don't know yet. But man, they got their hands full with Watson right now, man. So
Yeah. So I got another guy.
mhm.
Dre, this was a guy you were kind of high on. This one is kind of in between. You might want to get money back. You might say, you know what, let's let it play out. But this guy,
Okay.
you know, was a first in 2022. He was a first round draft pick. He was the number 5 pick overall. That got him a 4-year, $31 million fully guaranteed contract. That's what rookies get nowadays. Since he's been drafted, he has 15.5 sacks. He had 11 sacks in his first year, 4 in his second, 99 tackles. But last week, which I was very surprised to see, recorded 0 stats for the entire game. Not
Nice.
a tackle, not an assist, not a sack, not a nothing. This is Kayvon Thibodeau.
Thibodeau. Man, you really pushing on the Giants.
Man.
I mean, damn. Yeah, I have to say, he when they drafted him, and I was looking at him, man, because I brought it up last season.
Yeah.
And I thought that this guy was worth the money. I actually thought for a rookie deal, but you're right, man. That's a tough one to say, give me my money back, or he just had a bad game, opening up. You probably gonna disagree with me because I looked at some of his highlight reels from college and how he was coming across. Give him more, give him, see what he does today against Washington.
Yeah.
I think again, his contract, I would say not to give my money back. I think it's fine, in my opinion.
Okay.
I think it's to be determined. I agree, Dre. I think let's maybe give him the benefit of the doubt. Said he had a bad game last week. Let's see what he does against the Commanders today, and if he makes a difference. And if not, then yeah, you're starting to get a little concerned here. Like what happened? Is he regressing? And again, I mean, is he the same thing as Jalen Carter? Is he just not able to have that drive and that push because of some endurance issue or conditioning or something else going on that he just can't get it together? So
true. We'll
find out.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think it's a little too early because he did have a very good, he's got a good number of sacks.
Yeah.
So I think the concern, though, like you said, watching the day, if he has another 0 stat day against the Commanders, all right, something's wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Something's really wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got an interesting one. So this guy, you know the name, but this guy bought the Panthers in 2018 for $2.2 billion.
Ooh.
Since then, the team has been 31-68. They're going through 6 head coaches, and the guy himself has been fined $300,000 for throwing water or beer or whatever on a fan. That is David Tepper, the owner of the Carolina Panthers. You want your money back as a fan? You want them out of town, sell the team, do something? Or if you're a season ticket holder, do you think you should get tickets for free? What are you guys thinking?
You can't give tickets away, so Tepper better Tepper down because that's like you can't give tickets away to that team, man. The big thing was that Bryce Young, he was going to be the savior and everything. Is he too tiny? Well, maybe it is what people were saying. Can he not see over the line? There's too many balls getting tipped, whatever it may be. He doesn't seem to be making the progression, and that's really set the franchise back. And I think that's been the frustration. You finally had the pick. You get the guy. You've had a lot of high draft picks, but you just can't seem to pick the right guys and get them in the right positions. So, sometimes you got to look in the mirror when you're switching coaches and, you're switching players and that's not working. Sometimes you got to look in the mirror and say, well, maybe it is the GM, maybe it is the owner, and it's time to make a change. So I agree. I think they got to seriously consider that. And this might be a big time season for them. If they don't do well, that you'll see some hefty changes.
Well, the owner must be best friends with Snyder.
Yeah.
So, I'm telling you right now, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities. Yeah.
It might be sewage on them too. So listen, the owner of course, the Carolina Panthers had a good reputation. Remember when they came in as an expansion team? They went the second year. They went to the playoff, up to the Super Bowl, didn't they?
They were good.
They were good. They even beat. I remember, matter of fact, they beat Philadelphia And I remember, man, I hit my door when that happened.
Ah!
You know, but Carolina has gone down and down. And as for the fans for Carolina, remember, Carolina represents both states, North Carolina and South Carolina. It's just not Charlotte. Okay. To me, man, I want free tickets. If I'm a season holder, I want 10 rows of seats for all of us for free, because it's just going to get worse, I think, because not even just the players. Like, remember when we had Miles, he went there, he ain't done crap, you know, the running back we used to have.
Yep, Miles Sanders. Yep.
Yeah, Miles Sanders. And I'm for anybody who's a Carolina Panther fan, man. Sorry, man, but you just gotta put your jersey away, or go down there and protest and say, I want free tickets.
Give CMC back to him.
Right.
Yeah,
CMC.
well, I know that.
Yeah.
You know, that was one of those deals like Saquon getting out of New York. You know, he's like, I'll never go back. You know, he was like, no. It's like you're locked away.
I know Cam Newton. I know Cam Newton said, like, dang, man. It wasn't like that when I was there. You know, I was eating caviar and all that, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, no, you know, it's funny. I got a couple more, but I'm running short on time, so I'll do one more. But you know, Carolina is, it's funny. I was looking up Lovie Smith the other day, and you know, he was the coach of the Texans, and you know, he got fired, and then D'Amico Ryans took over. And you know, the last game that the Texans had, they won, and they actually lost the first number 1 overall pick because they won, so they got the number 2 pick. And of course, Carolina got the number 1 pick. They took Bryce Young, and then the Texans took CJ Stroud. And, you know, it's like, imagine if they had threw that game and the Texans had took Bryce Young, you know, where would that franchise be? You know, it's funny how all those kind of things work out. You know, that Lovie Smith, in a way, you know, them trying to run him out of town, but him actually sticking to his guns and wanting to win that game might have actually saved the team in the future, you know?
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, man.
That's true, man.
So of course I gotta say the best for last. This could cause a lot of drama, but you know, this guy last year had a 5-year, $255 million.
I know where he's going.
I know it too.
$179 million guaranteed.
Get ready.
$51 million average. Since he's got that deal, he's had 25 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. His QBR rating last year was 89.1. Currently, it's 80.3. He actually threw for more yards after he got the deal than he did before he got the deal. We had an MVP caliber season. That is Jalen Hurts.
Sal, you go first, because I'm gonna save it best for last.
Give me my money back. I am not convinced.
Oh, really?
I don't think he's the guy.
Wow.
I thought all y'all were against me when I said that, but go ahead.
No, I'm not buying into it. I told you guys that from day one. I thought he was Donovan McNabb part 2. That's not to say that he's going to be a bad quarterback. He's not a bad quarterback. I just don't think the ceiling is what people thought it was. That's all. And he's going to be good. He's going to be serviceable, just like, you know, Donovan McNabb was. He might lead him to another championship, maybe a Super Bowl, but I just don't see him getting over that hump until he learns to take care of the ball, until he learns to go through his progressions better. And he's got a hell of a lot more weapons than Donovan McNabb ever had, and he hasn't been able to use them yet. So I'm not buying in yet. Maybe a little bit to be determined, but as of right now, I want my money back, Dre and Mike.
Wow, you want your money back?
Wow,
yeah.
man.
Wow. You know, I was livid when I heard about the contract, because I was trying to explain that he improved what a quarterback, NFL quarterback, is supposed to do. Right? He became basically a standard quarterback. Because remember, NFL, you're at the highest level. So now he's there. But then he goes to the Super Bowl. Then after the Super Bowl, you're going to pay him this money. Just because he showed improvement from the year before. Because, you know, to me, why are you paying all that money just to see a quarterback just do their normal learning going up the curve? And I felt that was just way too much money. But then I was getting for, well, this is the market today. The market is that they're paying players this money. But to me, it's not. He's not worth the money yet for what he's been through so far. That's just my opinion. And I like Jalen Hurts. I do. And I think he's way better than Donovan McNabb, honestly. But I feel that, give my money back to answer, for the show. But to me, you want to talk about percentage? I would have probably gave him like a 20% increase from what his salary was when he was rookie salary, or 25% increase. Because to me, if he showed back to back, like if he showed me back to back that he was, giving us wins and taking us to the playoffs and even a Super Bowl appearance, yeah, man, go ahead and pay him that money. And it also goes back. I'm gonna bring up one quick analogy. Remember with Baltimore, and you remember Mike, what's the name, wins the Super Bowl. The following year, they gave Flacco $100 million, increase, right?
Yep.
And what did he do right after that, man? He freaking bombed, and he hasn't, with Flacco.
Yeah, he's been a journeyman. Yeah.
So I know I'm going long-winded here. I'm tired of all these players getting this money where they just do what they're supposed to do and not show really progress. You know what I mean?
It goes back to what I talked about, how he tried to jump the market because he knew that a lot of quarterbacks were going to get signed. So he tried to jump the market. As far as Donovan McNabb goes, look, McNabb didn't have the weapons. His stats actually are a little bit better than Jalen Hurts if you look at him. So I'm not sold yet that he's better than Donovan yet. He may be, Dre. He might be right. Maybe he will. But considering the weapons McNabb had, and Hurts has, you can't even put him in the same.
You're right. It's just basically a race. I mean, Dak last week. Come on, man.
Yeah,
Dak Prescott,
ridiculous.
really?
Yeah, that was insane.
So everybody's going to see what's going to happen because they're the same. And Dak is, I don't want to go.
Dak is back.
Dak is inaccurate, and he can't handle pressure. We know that. But you're going to pay him, make him the highest paid quarterback. It's monopoly money they playing with, man.
Wait till Purdy, Mike. Wait till Purdy.
Yeah. I will say, at least with Purdy, I've seen two, at least 1.5 seasons of actually really good quarterback play from him.
He is.
And if it continues this year, at least I won't feel like, all right, if they sign him to some ridiculous contract, at least you like, all right, I've seen a track record versus, he had one great season, let's get paid. Like Jordan Love. Jordan Love had, half a season of looking good, and they broke the bank for him. You're like, man, I don't think there's really enough there. I mean, dude's been sitting on the bench for 2 years, and then you're going to pay him, to be a top quarterback. Or like, I hate to say Tua, Tua was kind of the same thing. It's like, all right, man, he hasn't won a playoff game yet, but yet, he's getting paid, tons of money. And I'm not sure if you really saw anything that made you felt like he was going to get a lot better. If anything, you saw, unfortunately, what you saw the other night, we kind of feel like he's one hit away from being knocked out for the rest of his career. So it's a lot of risk. Purdy gets paid. If he's looking like how he's looking, I won't feel bad about it. Surely it's going to hurt the team from a salary cap perspective, but that it is, like you said, that is the nature of the league. There's a quarterback driven league.
You know what Jermaine's going to say? Where else she going to go? That's what Jermaine
I know.
would say.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that, man. But it's too much money.
It's too much money and not enough proven commodities yet. But
yeah,
all right.
I think it's the value. Like you said, it's too much money because you think the value is not there. I mean, the money is kind of inconsequential because the league is making so much money and the salary cap is ridiculous. I mean, it sounds like a lot, but at the same time, it's millionaires and billionaires, as they say. But it's just what you're getting for it. You just equate it to, okay, if this guy gets a big contract, you want to see him improve, or you at least want to see him get to the Super Bowl. You don't want to see him throwing interceptions, to wide open safeties. Like, dude, who you throwing the ball to? You don't want to see that kind of stuff. I think that's where the frustration comes in with the whole, all right, give me my money back.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. Hey, everybody, if you're going to be around Tuesday, the 24th, working on a special show, actually having somebody potentially who works for the NFL as a video production specialist going to be talking with us. Hopefully we're working on the details of that. So keep your eyes out on social media for that. So potentially a special show on Tuesday, the 24th, instead of our typical Sunday morning. Other than that, guys, a lot of good games today. So we'll keep an eye out for everything. Now that we're on all of our social media platforms, feel free to check us out. Of course, we are streaming live on all of the channels now. We're on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. So keep us, keep it going. Keep your subscriptions coming. Keep subscribing to our channels and coming in here. And we appreciate guys like Hef and all our fans who interact with us on here. And as always, you can email us enoughsaidcrew@gmail.com. Hopefully we'll have Jermaine back next week with the championship. We'll see what happens here. And I know, do we got a special guest on next week, guys? What do we got going on next week?
We're working on that, but I think we will have a special guest next week. So that'd be good.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
So the next 2 weeks we could have some good guests for sure. So keep an eye out, and we'll give you guys or keep you posted rather of all the details. All right, everybody, have a good Sunday. Enjoy the games, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Yep. And
Yep. You know what? There's an invisible man sleeping in your bed. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters.
Yeah, absolutely, everybody, and people who haven't, seen our intro, man, we're gonna close it out. So have a good one.
All right, later, guys.
All right.